first of all, I thank you all so much for coming. It's really exciting to see you all here, and it's nice to have such an kind of an interprofessional mix of people. So we have OT students here, so you want to put your hands up. I know who you are, but just so everybody else knows. Yeah, I didn't coerce them, I swear. And I know we have some people from clinical psychology. Yeah? Have they shown up, Barry, or no? Yeah. Okay, we've got a couple of people here. Well done. Good. And where are other people from? I know we've got a couple people from here in clinical therapy, so yeah, excellent. And who else do we have here?
Music therapy.
Music therapy, perfect. Welcome. Who else is here? Some others. I thought there was somebody else.
Nursing.
Nursing, excellent. Very welcome. All right. So. You'll notice that we're already at 10:10, so I made the welcome 10 minutes knowing that we'd likely be on Irish time instead of Canadian time. So that's why I built in those extra 10 minutes, so I'm not going to take 10 minutes. And then we'll go right from my little welcome to these two gentlemen doing their presentation around the inclusive research they've done. Then we're going to move into an interactive workshop about what it means to do inclusive research throughout all the stages of the process. And then the really important part is we get to have refreshments and chat at the end. So, just a little introduction to IDS at UL. That's a group of us here that we've called ourselves Intellectual Disability Studies at UL. And these are the people involved so far, and we're certainly welcome to other people coming in and joining us, especially since we're having a conference in June. We're really welcoming new people to come in and join us to help us organize and plan that conference. And here are some of the aims that we set out. The first one is to advance the rights of people with intellectual disability, to work in a manner that recognizes the unique individuality of each person, their family members, carers, and or allies, to create a forum for discussion, to respectfully engage with people in inclusive research, and to support and further develop the research capacities of members of the staff. And here are the 5 kind of research strands that we're kind of going forward with. So Eileen Carey is the lead person on inclusive research and practice. Owen Doody, who's back here, is the lead for families and carers. Barry Coughlin is the lead for professional interventions and responsive services. I'm the lead for social justice and rights, and Stephen Gallagher is the lead person for health and well-being. And without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to our 2 guests. So come on up, and I'm just going to switch over to their slides. So give me 2 seconds. All right, so you set?
Yeah.
Excellent, you're very welcome, and I'm going to get out of your way.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joseph McGrath. I'm from East Clare, and this is Rob Hopkins, who is he's got no job as a researcher. He's doing a course in Bristol with Kaylee Johnson. She was a person from Australia.
It's the Nora Fry Institute in Bristol. People might have heard of it, but anyway, it's a big sort of research centre in Bristol University. So off we go. There's going to be a bit of a double act here now, and we're not exactly sure. We've done a few of these sort of between us, and we've mashed about 3 different presentations together. Hopefully it's coherent and it'll make sense. But anyway, basically we've got principles and ideas there. So we're going to take a few slides each. We're going to talk over each other. We're going to contradict each other. That's pretty standard for how we operate. So, oh yeah, there we go. So that's what we're really going to be covering, hopefully.
Participation in inclusive research, how research began and how it should be worked, and principles, who is involved, and the benefits.
There we go.
So, now, my name is Joseph McGrath. I work for the IRC Savers Association. I'm employed by them. They're an organisation who preserves all varieties of apple trees and seed potatoes and all that stuff. I also, while I was working part-time there, I set up a coffee shop in about 2006-07, and there wasn't much wheelchair access in it, but after a couple of years I put in some.
Here's a bit of magic, and also this is, I suppose, what we were saying, weren't we? That when Joe was involved in the original research that we did, one of the first projects focused on Joe's cafe that he was running with another guy in Scariff.
Well, a coffee shop actually, not a cafe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
But he
doesn't sell food. What was the difference between cafe and coffee shop?
we just could do scones and stuff. No, we weren't equipped for big food like for
catering and
yeah.
You got you
There is different legislation.
Here we go.
And that was the end result of it. But we had to close for about 2.5 years to get that done. But
I suppose what we're showing, or what we're saying, is the research, and this is in our why are we doing what we're doing? That things need to happen. We need to show that something happens as a result of people doing research. It's not just throwing it up on a shelf and collecting a doctorate at the end of it. Don't want to knock that at all. It's very bad. No, it is.
No, but I think
something happening with people themselves who are involved in it. We need to see.
I think, Rob, along with doing through the thesis and stuff, practical stuff has to be shown as well. It's no good doing paperwork if you have nothing.
Yes, and I think that one of the main recommendations that came out of the research that you took, and I don't know if you thought about that would happen anyway beforehand. You did observations there.
I did, yeah.
You took recordings of what people who came into the coffee shop thought about the place.
I did, yeah.
Took photographs and then thought about it, and then these were the things that came up. People with who use wheelchairs in a cafe run by people, a coffee shop run by people with a disability. Some people with disability couldn't access the place, so that was one of the main things. So the getting the yeah. So this is me now. So Rob Hopkins is my name, and I've sort of done a backwards way entrance into research work. To be honest, I came over from England 20 years ago and did community arts things really, and then got involved in. I had done some learning disability work in London, and by a strange, bizarre set of circumstances, ended up becoming a manager of a services, Brothers of Charity. Come in and take a seat. Services in West Clare. You're okay? You're okay? So in the process of all of that, I'd always been interested in community arts and doing drama and making presentations. You're very welcome. We've only just literally just kicked off. We're just starting up now. You're all right. Joe McGrath and myself, Rob Hopkins. We're 2 slides in. We've done 2. Okay. So then I've got this managing job, but had always worked in community arts, and bigging up the director of our services, Mary Keeley, but she's on that cusp of a wave of integrated services and people being involved in communities and getting rid of barriers. So using arts, using community, we've got great encouragement. So we'll come on to a film in a little while that Joe and I made during that period when I was managing that services. But Kelly Johnson came. This is Kelly Johnson. Some of these people are going to start emerging as main players in our presentation. She's an academic from Australia, and she came and did the training that Joe sort of alluded to there. And this group of inclusive researchers grew out of it. Yeah, it grew out of eventually me thinking that the managing job was a bit of a balancing act, spinning a lot of plates and satisfying a lot of people, but it wasn't really. It wasn't really satisfying what I wanted to do. Actually doing things creatively with people was where I was at, sort of thing. So, so when Kelly had done this 2-year period of training, we agreed together with Mary Keeley that there was a place here for not just advocacy support, but advocacy with research. And I think that's what she'd sort of seen, that this was.
Well, I think Rob, that Kelly Johnson sowed the seed when she came and convinced her to
yes,
go with it, and being the person that she was, when she got the incentive to do this, she just thought about it very hard and took it and ran with it.
She ran
and
with it.
then she picked out the people who she thought
Yes.
could run with it, like herself. And
Yes. Well, and I think as well, it's all about timing. Any of these developments and things that happen, they sort of like happen when, you know, and in 2008, we hadn't actually realised that we were standing over a precipice and we were about to fall into an abyss sort of thing. So there was money and people were willing to take chances. And so anyway, research coordinator was a bit of a fancy title, and as it so happened, Kelly Johnson had moved over to Bristol to the Nora Fry Research Institute as director of the institute, the centre there, and she was setting up an inclusive research masters, theory and practice. So, oh yeah, that'd be good to do that. They were obviously canvassing for people to get on the course as well, and so I'm distanced actually going through that course at the moment, but actually had secured a research job beforehand. I think that's pretty rare. I think you normally have to do the
theory first.
But anyway, we'd sort of reversed in it, you know. We'd had some experience.
So this is the United Nations Convention on the Rights of People with Disabilities, and in 2003 we created a document film with Loophead Studios called Making It Work, and the United Nations showed the film in the discussion forums building to the conference on the rights of people with a disability in 2006, and in meaningful work.
Yes. So
that's the first time that I met you when we did that film.
That's right. That's right. And that was the period when I was up until, you know, when I was sort of managing services, and Mary was saying, "Oh yeah, keep doing what you're doing, because you know it's great to be doing creative things and promoting services and being part of the, you know." So we had a connection with Loophead Studios, you know, Inside Out Dancing, you know, that film. So this is actually the sister of the woman who she got all the IFTAs last year. She got what's her name now? Juanita Wilson. Juanita Wilson. She actually she swept the board with all the IFTA awards last year with a film about Yugoslavia. Okay, you haven't seen that. It's only an Irish film, don't worry about it. But anyway, she's the sister, and they run an animation studio in West Clare, and we have, again, connections, things happening, you know, star alignments. We were just very fortunate to be in this position so we had this film, we were getting encouragement, we actually were going to Inclusion Europe conferences because we had a Spanish potter, so he had some connection with Madrid, and we were going to these sort of things, and we were getting plenty of encouragement. It looked like we were on the pig's back in a sense, you know, loads of money going around and people going to do things, but I think it paid great dividends, you know. I'm sure universities will be promoting this anyway, interaction, cultural exchange, comparisons, and working out where we are and where other people are and what we can learn from each other. So anyway, we actually were in Prague with this, didn't you remember that? We went to
myself, you and
a few different people,
Marie Moroni and a couple, and we had great fun coming out there. But we had an extreme experience coming back when somebody, there was two
that's an episode of the airport.
People who swapped tickets with each other, but they had the same name, and we had to buy a ticket all over again for one of them because it wouldn't let us back in.
Yes, we nearly ended up in the jails. Anyway, those are the adventures of doing these things. But we made this film in 2003. The Inclusion Europe conference for 2004 was in Prague. We went to that. This film was seen there and taken up there, and at that time the United Nations were looking to generate discussion about the convention that they were anticipating writing. So two people were selected from different countries around Ireland. Actually, we'll show this film during the tea break, and I think I was just thinking about this now, Nancy, we may just show the film. It's 15 minutes long.
During the refreshment break at the end, yeah, absolutely.
And let people have a look at it, because two of the people that were mentioned there, Joe and another woman who's in a catering job in Kilrush, were identified as two people living meaningful lives, and